It's my feel-good breakfast show.
It's your feel-good breakfast show. This is Expresso, live on S3. And with Easter on the horizon, Easter egg hunts create an opportunity for plenty of good old-fashioned family fun and, of course, creation of warmth, fuzzy memories. And this morning, we chat to human potential and parenting expert Nikki about the thrill of the treasure hunt for kids.
Ooh, you know what? Easter is one of my favorites, especially when the Easter Bunny came to visit. But Nikki, what is it about Easter that kids in general love so much?
I think it's the hunt. It's the hunt for treasure. It's the surprise. It's the fact that mum or dad has invested time hiding things for them to go and find. So there's this sense of quality time, intentional connection. It's like hide and seek. Kids love hide and seek. So, you know, you can actually hide anything. It doesn't have to be Easter eggs. You could have a shape game, for example, and go and hide the shapes in the room, and they will just love that. But it's that connection of parent and child in the same moment.
And that's so important that you mention that. It's about the investment of time. Basically, the kid sees that, you know, you as a parent, you've taken that time to make something exciting for them. And I think that exchange, it's quite important in a world where a lot of the hunting happens on social media or on their little devices. So in what kind of settings can you actually create a very fun and engaging Easter egg hunt?
Carl, I just want to pick up on what you said about so much hunting happens online.
Yes.
That's exactly why children like being online, because it's like a scavenger hunt. It's like an amazing race where they're uncovering different things in different places, in different environments, albeit virtual. And so remember that. Kids love the whole concept of a treasure hunt. In fact, when I do social media talks, I talk about the treasure hunt. So let's go to the real world now.
Yeah.
Where can you create this kind of a treasure hunt with those lovely marshmallow Easter eggs? Because they're all packaged nicely, you know, you can throw them into the garden. So if you do have a garden, that's a great place to go and hide things. Just remember how many you put out there so that you can tell each child, especially if you have, say, 2 or 3 children, you can only collect 10 each.
Yeah.
Otherwise, one child might get all 30. So they need their little bucket. They need to go out into the garden. They need to look under, you know, leaves and plants and behind things. But some people don't have a garden. So we need to also accommodate people who don't have the big rolling garden, which is quite unusual these days. And you may be in an apartment. So you can get your kids to stand outside the front door while you hide the eggs throughout the house in different rooms, you know, under furniture, under cushions, behind the TV, for example. And then when they come back in, you can play hotter, colder, hotter, colder. You know, as they're looking around the house, you can give them clues. Yes, getting warm. Oh, very, very hot. You know, once again, it's that paying attention to your child in that moment that is going to create that bonding. One other place that I was thinking would be really fun for an Easter egg hunt is actually your car.
Oh.
But each child could have a couple of minutes in the car, and you'd obviously have to have a changeover so that you could hide more eggs for the next child. But think about it. One in the cubby hole, one under the seat, one in that little back pocket behind the driver's seat. You know, you can find all sorts of places to hide an Easter egg in a vehicle. You could have them on top of the wheels, behind a wheel. So they've actually got to move their bodies up, over, under, around. Once again, movement makes things exciting. So, you know, I thought a car might be quite a fun place in which to have an Easter egg hunt. Even your child's own bedroom would be a place. I've done this not just with Easter eggs, but with sweets during a play date. When my kids have had play dates and kids have come over, where I've hidden things in the bedroom. You see, it's just that element of surprise that's a real win.
And there's a thrill to it. I had a good giggle when you said, just remember how many eggs you put out, because we were 7 cousins close in age growing up, and we would go treasure hunting, and then there just weren't enough eggs for everyone. It just never added up, so we always lost the egg or 2 along the route.
And also you need to write down where you put the stuff, because it was about a week ago I found an Easter egg I'd hidden in 2021 for my nephew, my godchild, when I did a bit of a treasure hunt thing. So it's important, dear parents, make a note of where you hide stuff. Otherwise, you'll find it a year later.
Yes. Nikki, what can we do? I mean, when it comes to the Easter weekend, the weather is always so unpredictable. But if it's maybe too hot to put Easter eggs in the garden?
Okay, so something that you can do is things like poker chips, those plastic poker chips. In the old days, we used to have bottle tops, but anything that's not going to melt in the rain or the sun, you could go and hide poker chips out in the garden, and they can go and gather the poker chips and then come back inside and exchange those for Easter eggs. And I remember going to a friend's child's birthday party once, and she cut up pieces of paper, white pieces of paper, and she scattered them all over the garden. And the children had to literally go and find pieces of paper and bring them back and exchange them for the treasure. So you can do any manner of things, even butter beans. Butter beans, you know, you get that packet of big butter beans, scattering those all over the garden and getting kids to go and collect those and then swap them out would work as well.
Amazing.
And you know, there's actually another little thing that I've tried before, Nikki, and I'm not sure if you agree with this, but you know, with those smaller puzzles with less pieces, if you can hide those around, and some of them are quite robust.
Pieces.
Yeah, that's it. And you can actually hide them around. The first person to find them all and also complete their puzzle will get sort of the loot, so to speak, which I really enjoyed as well. So
That's cool.
There's so many cool ways of doing this. Thank you.
What you could do then.
Yes.
You know, if it's, say, like a 12-piece puzzle.
Yes, that's it.
And maybe, yeah. And the first person to build it, they all get their 12 Easter eggs, but the first person to build the puzzle gets a bonus.
That's so cool.
That is amazing. Well, listen, we've got more to unpack with you, Nikki Bush. Please don't go anywhere, as we will be continuing on our treasure hunt with Nikki Bush in just a bit, so stay tuned with us.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
We are continuing our conversation with human potential and parenting expert Nikki Bush about creating good memories for the kids with Easter egg hunts. Oh, I'm so excited for the Easter weekend.
Exactly. There's so much excitement going around and so much innovation you can add to it as well. So, Nikki, just to bring you back in, how can you turn an Easter egg hunt into a treasure hunt or an amazing race for perhaps older children who feel that they've outgrown the Easter egg hunt?
You know, I don't think kids ever outgrow the Easter egg hunt.
Never.
I was on holiday recently with some 9, 10, 11, 12, 13-year-olds. And in fact, it was the 13-year-old big sister who turned the Easter egg hunt into a scavenger hunt. And she created clues. And it was walk outside the front door, turn right, walk 10 paces, turn left, and at that tree, look for the Easter egg. So she was literally mapping. She had mapped the whole environment. It was actually in the bush. And so she had these kids walking around the patio, walking up onto rocks, walking down into the veld to trees. And she had gone out in the morning and hidden these eggs. And it was so creative and just a lovely way of keeping the tradition running, because they have such fond memories of Easter, will get on board and do these things. And then you can actually create parties out of a treasure hunt. And I think that's worth talking about.
So cool.
Most definitely. I mean, I'm thinking now, you know, the concept of an Easter egg hunt is something I used to love as a child. But you know what? What is it about it that's so enticing for children?
It's the hunt, it's the secret, it's the surprise, it's the connection, it's the togetherness. And I actually hauled out a scavenger hunt that my dad did when I was, I think I was like 15. So you really can carry these on. And I've done scavenger hunts for adults as well. And it's just such fun because you can mix up words, like the road was Glenluce, and he said left into Lenkugel. And you had to do the anagram and work it out. And we did this in cars, where we had adults driving, 4 kids at a time in each different car. And we had these lists, and I've got them here, literally. We had these lists of clues that we had to follow. And so you have to solve the puzzle, and we actually are problem solvers at heart. So let's give our kids a challenge this Easter to help them have fun on the hunt.
Oh, I love that.
It is. And I think that, you know, we don't need to hunt for family time when we can create a moment like this, which is so, so important. Now, How can you turn a treasure hunt into a high-impact birthday party concept? Because I'm hearing that you've got lists in front of you. I think like an amazing race type of thing could actually be possible to actually amp up a birthday party.
Yes, so the one that we did for my son, we actually took the kids from, we were in the northern suburbs, and we took them in cars to the Cradle of Mankind. And on the way, we planted things that they had to collect. So, you know, the local cafe, they had to go in and we'd given them money and they had to go and buy ice lollies, for example. And the cafe owner knew exactly what was going to happen at around approximately what time. So he had all the ice lollies ready in the fridge. I've even known parents who have literally frozen things in ice blocks and left them at shops for kids to collect. Then they've got to use a hammer and a screwdriver to get what's inside, because that's the next clue. Or even things like fortune cookies. You can hide clues inside fortune cookies. So they've got to stop at the local Chinese restaurant and go and collect the fortune cookie to find the next clue. How exciting. What a lot of fun. It costs nothing but a little bit of creativity, imagination, and a tiny little bit of time. But these are the birthday parties that kids remember forever.
Your birthday's next.
Yes,
Would you be keen for something like that?
Of course I'm keen. You know that I've always heard about these things like the hint hunts and all of those sorts of things, and I think that this is a great way. More importantly, with your kids, having that type of ingenuity in your home, it rubs off on them. They start being more creative themselves. And I think we need more creative kids that are not fed too many things from the internet, but are creating more. And that's what this entire concept does, which I'm very, very excited about. Nikki?
This is interesting, Carl. What you say here is so important. My youngest son is studying landscape architecture. And this is exactly what he's having to do with landscape design, is to create an environment where people can discover things around every turn. Wow. So I think this has stood him in good stead for that.
You've definitely prepared him for that. Nikki, it's always so great to catch up with you. Thank you so much.
It's a great pleasure and a happy Easter, everybody.
Thank you. That was Nikki Bush. And for more information, you can pick up the conversation with Nikki on her Parenting Matters Facebook page. Oh, that was incredible.
It was indeed. So don't hunt for family time. Just create it this Easter.